Join me right now on Kumite TV is UFC lightweight crusher Stephen Ray. Welcome back, Stephen.
Hey man, what's up, man?
Now let's get into it right away, man. UFC Moncton. We spoke before that fight. You went in there with a lot of, built up frustration a little bit, and you went in there and you did you did your thing. You got the unanimous decision. How do you rate that performance? Against Ariane.
I'm not too happy with the performance, to be honest. Watching it back, I could have definitely done more. Sometimes, like even Dan Hardy said, sometimes I get a bit where I'm like coasting. I end up coasting. I'm doing just enough to win, but I've got more potential to be stopping guys, putting guys away. So yeah, I need to. I should have. Threw more combinations and tried to look to finish the fight a little more, but it's just like in the fight, I kept leg kicking him, and he wasn't doing anything. He was just letting me. He was just letting me leg kick him. So I just kept doing it, obviously to score points. Try and hack away at his leg, and then watching it back, he was obviously preparing to try and counter me. Every time I was throwing my left hand, that he was landing some combinations. I caught him a few times with the left hand, but a lot of the time that he hit me was when I tried to hit him. He stepped back and countered me. But apart from that, it was a weird fight. I expected them to be on the back foot. I expected them to be kind of hitting and moving, and me pressing forward. But he came out and fought a complete different fight to what I expected. So I had to just kind of deal with that on the night. But that being said, I got the win after two kind of rubbish fights before that. So that's the main thing. Back on winning, and yeah.
When you got back home, you got back with your team. What were the emotions like?
Yeah, I was just so happy that I got the win. Like if I lost that, then I maybe could have got cut. So that's the what's on the line here. Sometimes it's not just a fight; it's your career. Because you really don't know what would come next. I know there's other shows, kind of big shows, that are rivaling the UFC now, and so other stuff could be there, but it's just being put in that situation. If hopefully that doesn't come anytime soon, but like winning and losing is a big deal, and obviously the way the contracts usually work as well, you get half your money if you lose. So there's a lot of money on the kind of line too. I was just so happy to get the win. Not too happy with the performance, but at least I got the win, and I could look at getting back in the gym and improving, and what did I do wrong, and what can I improve on, and that's what I've done. So I'm expecting to see Stevie Ray 2.0 in a couple of weeks.
Do you take that same mentality that you took into that fight, moving on forward with the other fights, just keeping that, that like I could be cut mentality?
Yeah, I mean, because you never know. You never know with the UFC. Like, technically, I'm still 1-2 in my last 3 fights, because that split decision loss to Cajun. I mean, I don't really look at that too much as a loss. It was a pretty close fight. My last loss I look at is Paul Felder. That's where obviously, I can hold my hands up and say, I got beat. He knocked me out. So he's number 10 in the world now as well. So that gives me a bit of motivation. The last guy that really beat me is 10th in the world in the most stacked division in the UFC. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like looking past my opponent too much, but the plan is hopefully get the win, beat this guy in a few weeks' time, and then try and get into that top 15. And start kind of getting up those rankings. Because this guy I'm fighting as well, I believe he probably should be in the kind of. He's a top 15 guy. He's got wins over Kevin Lee and Adriano Martins, and he's beat some good guys. He's just been really inactive, and I think that's maybe why he's not in the rankings. But yeah, it's a tough test. Hopefully, get the win, and then I could try and get into the rankings.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of your next fight in Sweden in a couple weeks, you've been away for a while. Has it been difficult to book a fight, or were you taking a break from competition?
I had knee surgery after the Jess and Ayari fight. I went to the Performance Center in Vegas, and unfortunately, I had booked up, ready to go. Go over, get some training, enjoy myself. And the day before I went, I hurt my knee. So I had to eventually end up getting an MRI and stuff when I was over there, and then figured out that I'd tore my meniscus. It was quite a large tear in the lateral compartment again. And it was one of those things. I know that sometimes some guys will have tears in their meniscus and they can still train and just kind of move on with it. But this was causing a lot of swelling in the knee, and I couldn't sit back on my heels, so struggling to do any sort of ground stuff, and yeah, it was just really bothering me. So I had a good time out there and still got some good stuff done at the Performance Center. I'd like to go back, but I got surgery, so that's why I've not fought, because I was actually meant to be fighting on UFC London.
How long did it take for you to get back into training after the surgery?
Probably only 3 to 4 weeks, to be honest. Like, meniscus surgery, it's not that, it's not like a huge kind of rehab process. Pretty much, because it's just cartilage. Like, you need to obviously get the stability back in your knee, and I've done all the rehab program. I still try and do daily exercises for my legs and knees. But yeah, training pretty. I think it was 6 weeks till I done any grappling again though. So yeah, but I've been training for a good while now. I've had a couple of kind of BJJ competitions and stuff before, just to stay active, keep my weight down. And then I've had a pretty good camp for this one. I think I got this fight announced, with 12 weeks to prepare or whatever it was. So.
Yeah, you mentioned your opponent, Leandro Santos. He is a guy that should be in the top 15. He's a good guy, but he just hasn't been active. That's why nobody really pays attention to him. But you know who he is. Everybody knows that follows the sport who he is. Was he the first name that came through, or were there other guys that you were looking to fight?
I'll fight anybody. Like, I've always been that. It doesn't matter who they give out. It doesn't matter if he's a killer, if he's this. Whoever they offer me, I'm just like, let's do it. Obviously, I go and speak to my coaches and stuff, but we all knew this is a tough fight. Like, my next opponent, I think he's like a 7-time world champion in jiu-jitsu. He's like a 5th-degree black belt. And watching his fights, his striking's pretty good as well. So I think he knocked out Kevin Lee, ground and pound or something. But hurt him with like a right hand or something. So yeah, it just shows you he's dangerous on his feet and on the ground. But the way I see it, it doesn't matter who you get in the UFC. I could get somebody that nobody knows of, and he could be a killer. UFC, it's the Champions League of football, so every guy's dangerous, and at the end of the day, a fight's a fight. Um, I believe I've got a few advantages in this fight that I'm going to be looking to um, put into place.
He has been out for a long time, almost 3 years. Do you think momentum plays a big role in how fights play out? Especially, he's not a young guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the individual sometimes with stuff like that, and there's no really any fact. I don't think like, if you've been out, because you get some fighters that have been out a long time and they come back and they do brilliant, and others that you think, I think he didn't perform well because the ring rust and whatever. But I don't even care whether he fought last week, last month. I'm gonna just try and take his head off. That's it. But hopefully it does. Hopefully it does play a part. Hopefully he's a bit ring rusty, and he's 10 years older than me as well. So I'm not gonna lie and sit and say, hopefully he's still feels 21. Hopefully he is feeling that. Hopefully he's struggling with training, and any advantage, I'll take it. So, 10 years younger. He's not been in the cage or locked on for 3 years nearly. So, yeah, those two right there, that I could maybe take advantage of those two.
Yeah, that's what MMA is all about, man. It's all about advantages and the little, intangibles that, you take into the cage. And when a fighter says that they don't want any advantages, I think it's kind of a lie, because you want every advantage possible, right?
Yeah, too right. Yeah. You do get some guys saying, I want the best this guy, best that guy. I don't care. Like, if this guy's got loads of injuries because he's old or he can't train as hard, good. I'm training hard, 10 years younger. But you never know. He might be still feeling 21. Might be training. At the end of the day, it's a fight. I'm gonna go in there and try and knock his head off. He's gonna try and knock mine off. We'll see what happens. Okay.
You're back in the UK training, right? Your last camp you spent at TriStar. How is it being back home and being around the family and doing camp at home?
Yeah, it's good. My partner's been pretty good this time. I think she's realised, because I'm not quiet about that. Like, I've told her, I've told my coaches and pretty much the public that, one of the main reasons that I've went away in the past, it isn't to do with getting the best training partners and to get best coaches. It's to get away from the family. It's to get away, to be able to totally concentrate, focus, fight, train, eat, sleep. But I just felt like this time, it made sense that to do it at home. It's in Sweden. Like the last time it was in Canada, so that's another reason I was like, right, well, if I do my camp at TriStar, then I'm already in the time zone. I'm already pretty close to a short flight and all these. So at least it's in Sweden. I'm pretty sure it's the same time zone. If it's not, it's like an hour difference. And it's a short flight, so those are other things that can maybe be a little advantage. He's coming to a different time zone, different place, and I've got pretty good training partners for Santos as well at home. A couple of kind of guys that are built like him, long, rangy, because he's a pretty tall, rangy guy. I just thought the only reason I would maybe go away is if I've no training partners for the guy I'm fighting. If I'm fighting a short, stocky wrestler and I've not got any of those guys to train with, and TriStar did, then I'd maybe like to go and do that.
You've been using a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Is that something new you have implemented, or have you been using that for a while?
No, that's something new. There's a place in Fortin. I think it's Fife Hyperbaric Oxygen Chamber. Yeah, the guy, like I know the guy. We've spoke about before and stuff, and he said like he believes it would really help improve because even after my surgery, like I was getting problems with my knees, still getting inflammation. To the point I'm just ready to take a saw and saw my legs off. Um, but yeah, it's definitely helped. It's helped. Um, I've done a good few sessions now, and I just feel more energy. Sleeping better. My body feels better. I'm training better. So yeah, taking advantage of that.
I saw that at the end of March, you opened a new location for your gym, Braveheart MMA. It looks incredible. Talk about the new facility.
Thanks, man. Yeah, like uh, I first started opening Braveheart MMA when I was kind of in that point. After I lost to Felder, I wasn't sure what was happening with my career and stuff. So I was like, you know what, started coaching, and I was coaching out of another gym, so like more like a fitness gym, and I had a little room to start with, that would maybe only fit 15 people, and then we moved down to the bottom of the gym once I started getting busy. We moved down to the bottom, and that could fit a bit more. And then I bought the octagon off him because he had one in the gym. So I bought that, and then so we had more space, and then it was really narrow, and I was limited to what I could teach. And then I was just kind of always looking for new places, and I found this place. It was fairly cheap for like rent and stuff, pretty big, and yeah, just went for it. I had a bit of money in the bank, and I'm like, just I bought loads of cage fence and moved the octagon, bought more mats, got it vinyl it, and yeah, pretty much done it all up, and now we've got a lot more space.
How is it having a place where you can, you have your own business, you have your own establishment, and it is a gym, but when you go train for a fight camp, you go other places. Is that helpful for you mentally?
Yeah, I mean, my place, I only started that around a year and a half ago, so don't get me wrong, I've got some good fighters that, I've built them up, and there's a couple of guys that have came to me that, used to train elsewhere, or they've maybe got a judo or striking background or whatever. So I've got pretty decent guys that even I would be able to get some training in when they can give me tough rounds. Like I've even got a wee bit of black eye for one of my guys. It was he came to higher level MMA though. Like he came to where I train just to get extra rounds as well because he's got a fight coming up. But yeah, I've always trained at higher level MMA. We've got guys, Danny Henry, who's also in the UFC. Guys, Callum Murray, who fights on EFC. Stevie McIntosh, who's one of my main sparring partners. And a lot of other guys as well. Good fighters, good pros. And my head coach, obviously, he's been in the MMA game for like probably longer than I was born. So yeah, I'm always gonna be doing my training there, and then I go. It's good. I'm always learning still. I'm always trying to learn, and then even if it's going to training and getting a new coaching idea, I'll just steal all the coaching ideas from my coach, and then go and teach it to my guys. So it's perfect. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's hard. It's tough to be able to do both. And James said to me that time as well, you can't really be amazing at both. It's really tough to be amazing at both. So, I'm still fighting. I'm still 29, so I believe I've still got a good few years anyway. So most of my work I'm putting in is obviously on me and me as a fighter and an individual, trying to still make it, be the best, be make it to that top spot, make some money, and then when I'm done fighting, I'm going to put obviously all my concentration into Braveheart MMA. But yeah, just try and get that balance, and now I try and put as much time in coaching as I can. If I've got a fight, then they know that I'm not going to be at the gym as much. I'll get classes covered. I'll still go and coach, but not as much as if I've not got a fight. I'll be in coaching all the time, and that's just something that they're going to have to deal with until I'm done fighting. But it's good for them as well, because if I'm only coaching, then a lot of coaches, especially local coaches around here, they're probably just looking on YouTube for ideas. You end up running out of ideas, ideas for coaching and what should I coach tonight. But I'm continuously training as developing as well. So take some ideas from actually training rather than just going on YouTube and figuring out what I should teach. So yeah, it's good. I enjoy it.
June 1st, Sweden, UFC on ESPN Plus 11, Leandro Santos. It's always good talking to you, Steven, and good luck to you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate your time.